Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Adetinpo Thomas. We have Taylor DeThomas here, no relation, and we are going to be talking about The Agent. This is Actor Nightcap. We are under the umbrella of storyteller sessions, which is an opportunity on Tuesdays and Thursdays for actors and writers to get together and read scripts. If you haven't joined that, please do. It's awesome. And of course, now we have Actor Nightcap. We started with the craft. We did the mind, the body, and the health that needs to come with that. We had Alex Collins, the incomparable, talk to us about our materials. And now that our materials are ready, we have Taylor DeThomas here, and she's part of one of the premier agencies here in Atlanta, and she's also just a good human. So that being said, I'm gonna read your bio and then we can continue.
Okay.
There's a lot of flair, but you know.
Okay. I feel so awkward. I don't know what to do.
Taylor DeThomas is a talent agent with Alexander White Agency. She came to the company in 2017 to head the commercial division and has been developing a theatrical roster over the last 5 years as well. She has worked on numerous national campaigns and spokesperson deals and has aided her roster in landing roles of all calibers, from co-star all the way to multi-season series regular. Aside from working with actors, some of her other passions include staying the most up to date on the ever-changing Atlanta restaurant and bar scene, watching as many of the new TV and film content as possible, and snuggling with her dog, Lucille, AKA Lucy.
Yep.
Who we have sitting behind you. So yes. Taylor, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me. I'm good. It's, it's
considering.
Going. Yeah. Sort of hit the ground running after, the break. So been busy, which is good thing.
No, it's definitely a good thing. It's always wild. This is a complete sidebar, everybody, sorry. But it's wild that we're still like having to pay bills. Let me get political for a second. Like it's the apocalypse, but like I still need to like turn in my taxes. So that's fine. That's fine. Taylor, tell us about who you are. What was not covered in your bio?
When you sent me this question, I wrote out bullet points to like a lot of the things. And then this one, I was just like, I am still figuring it out. I do think that I have grown a lot in the, like since stepping into this world. But mainly I think I've realized that like who I am outside of this is also really important to me, and being a good friend and being a good like family member and being reliable, being a good dog mom. Like there are all these other facets to my life that like sometimes I feel like in our industry, it's really hard to separate this from who else you are, and I feel like especially, like all your friends end up being like industry people. And it's like, just I've learned that like it's also important for me to like do things that I like that have nothing to do with this, like that's why I say I like to go and like try new restaurants and things. Like I have a spreadsheet of all the new restaurants and all my favorite places, and it's like a huge Google Doc that I just edit every week just with like things I like to do. And I'm really type A, so yeah, just trying to remind myself that like even though I love what I do, I'm not only an agent, I'm a sister, I'm a girlfriend, I'm a dog mom. There's a lot of other things in my life that are important. I'm about to be an aunt for the second time. My best friend is about to give birth to her second baby. So, just things like that I try to remind myself are also important.
So what I'm hearing you say is that it's important to be a well-rounded person and to not be obsessed with your job.
Yeah, it's hard though in our world, isn't it though? Yeah. Especially like, LA is on a whole, they wake up at like noon and they work until, 7 or 8 or later. But for us, that's like, it's like noon our time, but I have to get up earlier for Atlanta stuff too. So really my whole day staying on LA time and staying on our time and, making sure everything's taken care of, it can, like, if you don't know how to balance, it can kind of overwhelm. So just, it's good reminder that like your life is also about other things besides work. So,
and it's so easy for that stuff to encroach because it feels so normal. It's so ingratiated into who you are. I woke up and immediately was like, I need to post about Actor Nightcap. And then was like, oh, you're working before you brush your teeth? Great job. Great work-life balance.
How often do I check my email before I even like do anything else for the day? It's like, yeah, it is hard. You find ways that work for you though. And like, for me, it's taking time, to read a book at night and just kind of like leave my phone away, you know.
Mhm.
It doesn't work all the time, but I try, I do my best.
Yeah, I live a chaotic life. And I guess it's a chaotic neutral, where my phone is just always on mute. Doesn't matter what time
Wow.
of day it is, doesn't matter what day of the week it
How?
is.
How do
I
you
will,
live?
I mean, I don't have people don't need me as much as they need you on a regular, like minute to minute
What
basis.
if your agent needs you? What you gonna do?
I mean, my spirit and my intuition will tell me to look at my phone,
You'll just
which
check
is
it
actually work.
periodically.
Yeah, I
That's
check
smart.
it periodically,
That's
but
smart.
it's nice because it's only coming into my day if I pick it up and choose for it too. Now, of course, like everybody else, it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Wordle, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
Wordle.
and then you text your mom, and then you know, like it's. So I try to put things down and be responsible. How
That's
long
good.
have you been in the industry?
Since 2014, so going on like eight years.
Wow,
It
time
was
is running.
my, yeah, it was my first job out of college, was interning at an agency, and I had no idea if I was going to stay with it, but I did. And it like fell into my lap kind of.
What did you study in college?
It was called, I don't even think they have this degree anymore, but at the time I went to UGA and it was called Mass Media Arts. And like
That
now
is
I like
nice.
have no idea what that even means, but it basically, all the classes were like entertainment centered. You know, there was like the pre-production classes, and then like the how to make a movie classes, and then we would do like script analysis and writing classes and editing and posts and stuff like that. So it's just like kind of like dipping your toe into all the different facets. And so I was like very intrigued, but I just, when we were making the movie, like for our, we did like 48-hour festival, and then we did one for a class project. And I was like, there's no way I can act. There's no way I can like be on set like every day like this. It's very, you know, stressful. So it's just not, it's just not for me. But then I was like, how can I love all these creative people, and I love like being part of this. Like, what can I do that will still let me like feel like this, but you know, with kind of a more regular 9 to 5 type hours. So that's kind of how I ended up in that position. I had a friend who was interning at, or she was a casting producer at Stillwell back then. And she forwarded my resume around, and that's how that happened.
Well, one, that's awesome because you actually have a well-rounded background in the industry. A lot of people will have jobs and you realize they don't know how anything else works, but they're trying to tell you how to execute something and that doesn't function. So to be able to have, yeah, and also it's called telecom now, I think, at UGA. I also went to UGA, go Ducks.
Yes,
I think
telecom.
that is very useful because also if you're looking at a script and you get an audition back from a sorry, don't mind, I'm done. You get a script back from an audition back from a client, and you're going, I think you're reading that line weird. That's not what that means. Let's go back and look at this together. Like you can do it from a place of knowledge, which I think is invaluable.
And I also think it's important for actors to have those classes as well. Like I think so many of them start without, you know, I mean, a lot of them have done their homework, but I just feel like so many times they don't know where to start. And I feel like honestly, like a script analysis class is like so important, because if you don't understand the tone and you don't understand what's going on in the scene around you, like no matter how good of an actor you are, your audition is just not going to be correct, you know? So yeah, I think that background did help me, even though it was just school. I never really had a job in that field, but I definitely learned a lot, and it was eye-opening. And I still have a lot of friends that are in all different like facets of the industry, like so I can piggyback and ask questions to them too, just because we're still friends. So
and that's actually something that people forget about. So often we want to network up, but Issa Rae, I believe, said something really good about how, you know, you hustle and you connect with the people around you, and then 10 years from now, we're on the red carpet kikiing, but remembering that one time we did a Zoom, you know, a Zoom call during the pandemic. Remember the pandemic? That was so weird. What a strange time to be alive. So I think a lot of reps, a lot of producers, a lot of directors would really benefit from having a better understanding what everybody's job is.
agree. I
But
agree.
that's neither here nor there.
Yes.
And actually that's a great segue, because my next question is, what is something that you wish actors knew? That can be in general, that can be before they reach out and submit.
Yeah, I wrote down a couple of things. I don't know if this is like on, pivot me if this isn't like what you want me to talk about, but um, you know, a few things just starting at the top of what I wrote, like treating the audition like it's your job, because it is, like I feel like I know that it can be exhausting auditioning with no feedback and with no knowledge of are your tapes making it to producers? Like, are you doing correct things? Like, I know that's exhausting, but also each time that you turn in a tape in, like that is a chance to make an impression. And in our business, that's a lot of all we have are the impression that we make. And so um, I love watching auditions, and we're different in that. I don't know um, however agency does this, but we watch all of the tapes that come in. And so we are able to I can give you feedback. I can't always get it from casting for every audition, but if it's a major one or one you're really excited about, like I will follow up and like let you know, because I do know it's exhausting. But I also know that like treating it like it's your job every single time is just gonna, because you wouldn't go to a job interview unprepared, so you want to, every time you turn in a tape, treating it that way. And also along those lines, having fun, and like you also wouldn't go into a job interview and be a robot of exactly what you think that they want to hire. You would be yourself and hope that you fit with like the culture of that place. And it's kind of similar in your audition, like bring what you have that is unique and special to you and your truth to everything you do. And will you be right for everything? No, but casting will remember you, and they will remember you when you are right. When something comes up, you want to be the person they think of when they read the breakdown. So, bringing that to everything you do is like the best advice I could give you. In terms of trying to get an agent, like do your homework on the person that you're emailing. Like I can't tell you how many times I get emails like Mr. Thomas. I'm like, that's not even my name. Like, and it's okay. Like I get that, like you probably emailing like 100 people that day, but like I don't really feel special if you don't know my name. So you can Google most people. They're either on IMDb, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. If you know where they work, Google their name and their work. Like there's got to be something about them out there that you can use to sort of introduce and at least spell their name correctly. Let me see.
Yeah, I know what that's like. Misspelled name, assuming I'm a man.
Sure. And my name is, it's not that, it's uncommon, but it's, like they always forget the D, or they call me a sir. I actually don't mind. I feel like people treat me different when they find out I'm a girl. And so I'm a woman, but so sometimes I let them think I'm a man for a while. I don't care. Okay. I'm trying to see if
While you're looking though, there's a couple of things that you said that I want to touch on.
Yeah.
One, I personally am trying to take out using so many exclamation points when I type emails, because we're taught to soften ourselves and be, I promise this isn't aggressive. I just really want to know how you're doing. I hope your weekend was great. And now I like will send, and not to be curt and it's not mean, but like,
you don't have to be like
please advise, period, yeah. Send. And then like, come at me, bro. Like I have questions to ask, and I don't know why you're expecting me to soften every sentence just because I am a lady.
Yeah, it's so true. I literally just said that to my boyfriend because I got an email and I got like nervous because casting director, one of my clients is up for something, and the casting director wrote, "Call me," period. And I was like, oh no, like what happened?
Right.
And I called, and then he was like, oh no, I love him. Like there was literally no issue at all. And I just like built it up in my head because he didn't put a smiley face or something that like it was bad, So I'm trying to like rewrite my brain in that way as well.
I wonder if there's a way we as millennials could just pivot that culturally, where it's like, read all of this in a pleasant tone, asterisk.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hello, I hope you're doing well, period. And like continue. I also like this saying, treat it like a job. I think people get murky with this, and I think the nuance here is important, and it's something that you touched on. Auditioning isn't the job. The acting you're doing in the auditioning is the job.
Yeah.
If you are an actor and you enjoy acting and it's something that gives you life and breath and whatever, let that be the thing that is charging your audition. Because I feel like when you say the auditioning is the job, people have to be grateful for the audition and, oh, well, at least I got it. And then it becomes their power in the situation, which is actually pretty high, starts to get diminished. So then you finally make it on set after being so gracious for the opportunity and so gracious for the audition. And then something weird happens. And then you're like, I don't want to be difficult.
Yep.
Let me send an email to my agent with exclamation points so they know that I wasn't being difficult. You know what I mean? So I think treating acting like the job that it is, and like the art that it is, and the joy that it is in every audition is absolutely important. But also then being able to prioritize, one, the rest of your life, and two, doing a good job consistently, because it's not about booking the role, it's booking the room, it's booking the casting director, might be the producer that sees you, that it's not this thing, but 5 years from now, they're like, actually, huge movie role. I've been waiting to put this person somewhere, and I finally found a place.
Right. Yeah, totally. And yeah, that's what I mean by it. And I mean, and also knowing your worth too. Like, yes, be grateful for all the opportunities you get, but just because you got a good opportunity doesn't mean if you get to set and something's amiss, like you call your agent and you say, like, I'm not being treated right. We've had issues like that in the past. And that's like, where the relationship with your agent will come in. Like, I don't know how everyone prefers to communicate, but for me, I would want my clients to call me like right away.
Oh, see, that's another thing, Taylor, you treat your clients like people, which is not something a lot of people do. There are lots of agencies, even in Atlanta, that are like, do not reach out to us, do not show up here. I don't want to hear from you. Just send in your auditions. And they don't watch them.
They forget that, like, okay, like I work for you, like, I'm not just like it's not, you don't work for me. I get 10% of your money. I work for you. So like, that's how I treat it. I mean, I think it also helps that we have such a small roster, because I mean, if I had 2,000 actors that needed something from me every day, I get why they get snippy, because that is too much. You can't effectively take care of that many people. You just can't. So that is why we're so strict with we have a sweet spot number that we feel like every agent can sort of do, like, collectively handle. And so we just try to stay within those ranges, and it helps us be able to treat you like people, because we're not so burnt out.
And actually, that's a great segue into my next question. Wow, we're so good at this. What is your style of communication when it comes to, and it sounds like it's pretty open and generous.
Yeah, I like all, I mean, depends on depends. Like, I don't love when people call about an email that I sent that has all the information in the email. Like, if you read my email and you still have a question, I don't mind if you call me, but email is the easiest way to communicate with me on a if you don't need an immediate response. However, I stay pretty glued. Everything is usually via email, but like, for every client that I have has a different way that they like to communicate. So I try to tailor to them too, because like, I have some that just hate email, and that's okay. Like, they don't want to email me, they can call me. That's okay. I have some that will like literally like avoid the phone at all costs, and that's okay too. Like, I'll text, or however is best for the situation, the urgency of the matter. And, I do like paper trails. So a lot of times if you call me, I'll be like, please email this to me, because I like a record that we spoke about it, just to cover my butt, so.
That's real. That is very real.
You gotta,
I think I'm a communicator. And not in an aggressive, hold my hand and tell me that I'm pretty kind of way, but it's nice to know, okay, I spent however much time learning these sides, doing this character breakdown, the script analysis, and then I taped it, and then I edited it, and I put on makeup, and I had to change my clothes, and then I had to take those, not to do all this stuff. Of course, that's what is the point, that's the gig. Then to know, okay, I just got sent into the ether, is kind of soul crushing sometimes.
Oh, so, I know.
Every once in a while, when you get that feedback from your agent, that was like, this was a good one, good for you, like, great job, keep up the good work. You realize that you're not just a number that they're betting against the odds, hoping that you're going to get one of the 6 people who look the same and are the same age and the same type a role in something, as opposed to like, I'm really invested. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say, you're an agent for one of my dear friends, and the way she talks about you compared to the place that she was before is so different. And I feel like so many of us actors, wow, this is going to make me emotional. So many of us actors, even in Atlanta, which is supposed to not be as cutthroat, are so traumatized by the way we were treated by teachers and agents in the industry in the area. And then, of course, because you're taught to be so gracious and so thankful, you don't feel like you can say anything. And then all of a sudden, that confidence you're supposed to be bringing into your audition, that confidence you're supposed to be bringing into the room is being trampled by the people who are supposed to be getting you that work to begin with.
Yeah.
And I feel like that becomes a complete clusterfuck.
Totally.
And a cycle that perpetuates and then feeds itself as well.
Totally. And I think like I also, I mean, from on the agent side, have experienced people not treating me you know, like undervaluing or
Actors, you
treating,
mean?
you know, even when you're you know, even when you're just an intern or just a, you know, like you could still, there's still a level of respect that everyone deserves in, you know, we're all just doing our best. So I also feel like I was a little traumatized in my earlier years. And
by the
so
actors
whenever
or by the other people?
both, like
Mm.
a lot of it, like in the beginning was like, you know, older actors who, you know, they don't want to talk to the intern. And I get that. And that's a, like at AWA, like we don't allow interns to communicate with our actors like that. Because we want everyone to know like who their person is, and like we don't want there to be confusion. And so I get why they were frustrated, but like I'm a kid who just graduated. Like I'm sorry I'm being told to do this. Like you don't, like the level of like anger that I would receive, that, and then casting offices too, and then and even my direct superiors at previous companies, just like the level of like aggression and just like unwilling to like be patient and teach. And that's something that at least with Alex I've been really grateful, and like one of the reasons why I wanted to go there was he was just very okay with like letting me learn, and then he knew what I was great at and he let me do that, and then he taught me some other things. And so I think like that's been like the best move I've made. My 5 years there will be in April, so I'm excited about that. And
Well, happy
um,
anniversary.
yeah, thank you. So yeah, but you hit it. Yeah, just, you know, it when you get beat down, it's hard to be happy when you have an audition when you don't even know if anyone's watching it. So
Yeah.
at least for us, we watch everything. So at least you'll know that.
Well, congrats to everybody at AWA. Well, something I also feel like is true. I grew up in LA, fun fact, and I moved to Georgia in high school. I now have a better sense of what people say and what people mean when they say people act Hollywood, people are in the industry, and what that means. Here, there's not supposed to be that stigma, sure, but I have found that the people who are really grounded and really true to what they're doing and honest and have the space to be vulnerable, regardless of what tier they're at, regardless of their acting career, of their producing career, being an agent, being a costume designer, when there's willingness to be vulnerable and to treat somebody like a person, like you're equal, all of a sudden the work is so much richer. Totally. And it's not an all of a sudden thing, right? Because that's the environment in which we thrive as human beings, when it's like a, not necessarily loving, because you don't want that to get conflated sometimes with work because it's work and you want to set it aside, but
respectful. Yeah.
Respectful. Thank you, Matthew. A collaboration, something where you know that everybody's on the same team, as opposed to if you mess up, you're about to get drilled into.
No, yeah. And I do feel like there are times whenever like I'm worried, like I'm like, was I, because it's, you want to stand up for yourself too. If an actor or a casting director is talking to you in a certain way that's not respectful, you've got to say. But that's like the whole thing of our job is, you know, we're the middleman, so we know how to like have those conversations. And so I feel like I figured it out. And growing up, I was always the middleman between my siblings and my dad. So I've had these skills my whole life, figuring out how to like, okay, they said this out of anger, translated, this is what they mean. I'm like, that's literally my job today. So
you are the filter.
Exactly.
Also, something before we move on to the next question I wanted to tag and maybe even speak on is that same way we can go into auditions jaded or just kind of blasé or terrified to mess up. Something I've heard casting directors say a lot is that desperation reads very thoroughly.
Totally. I can
And
tell in your auditions if
yeah, can you
like
speak
if
to
like
that? Because it's all right here, and you know that it's red, but what is that? Why is that a problem? Why is that hurting them so bad?
I can't other than like you can just tell that like it means so much to them, and like it's good that it does. It's good that they care. It's good that they are trying to put their all in. But like you said, like confidence is what people want. They want you to own that room. They want you to sell it. And if you just seem desperate, like if you don't get this job, you're not gonna be able to pay your bills, it comes across, and it takes us out of who that character is. And
Mm.
we're thinking about other things while we're watching your audition, like we're bored, we're not, it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel, I'm not in the story in that moment. So it's just important to try, even if you do need the job so bad because you have to pay your bills. I get that. I had same, I really need you to book things, but at the same time, um, and I tell my clients this, and I know it's hard, but like trying to leave that at the door and just having fun as much as you can. And like you said, like just treating it like the actual audition, like the art of it. And like that is bringing your truth to it. So yeah, I can definitely tell though. And I talk about it with other actors too, how the moment that they realized that they were just like, I don't care. Like if I don't book this, I don't care. And then like, that's when they book it, so
Yes, that's
they
exactly
throw
what
it
I was
away.
gonna get to.
Yeah.
Because it seems, and it's like weird. It's like dating, or at least not serious dating, where it's just like, look, oh yeah, you like me, that's cool, yeah, whatever.
Like
That's when you get to negotiate your rate up a couple $1,000s because you don't care. I mean, not that you don't care, but the investment won't make or break you as a human
yeah,
being.
it's
Because
like dating. We want what we can't have. If somebody acting like they don't need this job, then like you want them even more, It's like, I mean, I'm not saying be a jerk. I'm just saying
right,
be confident in what you have
we
to
are
offer.
not telling you to be assholes.
No,
That is
just
not the
be
message
confident
here.
in what you can bring, and know that if that's what's right for the role, that then you'll get it. What's meant for you isn't gonna pass you by. So just don't
Amen.
stress.
We're gonna pass the offering plate in the chat later, guys. So just make sure. What I say to myself is, what is for you will be yours.
Yes, I love
So
that.
you're putting it out there, you're doing your best. There are auditions where I'm like, man, I know that shit was fantastic. This okay though, that wasn't for me. And I just gotta like
Right.
move on
It
emotionally and let
wasn't
it
meant for
go.
you. Exactly.
Okay. The last question that I have before we can break out into maybe looking at people's packages for submissions
Mhm.
is, what are your long-term goals? Is being an agent something that you thought would happen? Do you want to continue to be an agent? Do you want to have your own agency? I don't know if you probably don't want to say that if that's true because you still live in
Uh,
Dallas. But
I don't know how much I can really say without getting in trouble, but yes, have I have aspirations to grow with Alex, and to grow our company together, and to sort of have a bigger seat at the table. And so things like that are being discussed. I don't want to leave.
mhm.
I feel like the the way we work together is really good and respectful, and I feel like I have a lot of freedom, and I feel like really grateful. Like he didn't take a chance in the sense of like, I brought a lot to the company when I started, but there was this whole, please tell me how to do TV film. How do I agent for that? Because, I never really learned that before. And so he definitely had to like put me under his wing and like shepherd me. But it's been awesome. And so I'm really grateful, and I feel excited about where we can go and how I can help the company grow. And um, even longer term, I am very interested in like communication law. I
Mhm.
love contracts, and I love, I'm not saying that I would want to do that instead of agenting, but I would be interested to explore maybe taking some classes to sort of, I love the legality of things, and I love paper. Like I love when I can like prove you wrong by like the contract. I just love that. So I long term would like to like explore that avenue a little bit more too. And I didn't think I would be an agent, but now that I am one, I do feel like it's the right place for me. And I do feel like I took a step back in between jobs before I went to AWA, and I worked at a healthcare consulting firm, and like I just was like, no, I'm not this person. Like I can't talk about my weekend and the Monday morning meeting. Like I'm just not I'm not that person. I'm like hardly awake on Monday morning meetings. Like it takes me a minute to like collect myself. So but I'm glad that I had a few actor friends that were like, just please come back. I feel like you just had a bad first experience, like try again. And so I did, and I'm glad. And I don't foresee myself changing careers anytime soon. So
You just said a lot of things that I want to touch on. One, I feel like it's important to have a support system that has your best interest in mind. But there's something in that about the gut check where you're like, is this in my spirit? Like, because I know when I left the agency that I was at previously, I probably wanted to do that for years before I actually did. And I felt bad, and I was like, I'm being ungrateful. Maybe I'm not working hard enough, and blah, 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 blah. But the hostility that sometimes I feel like I received, or the lack of communication, when I finally was like, okay, it's time to reach out and figure out what the next move is. When I got to the new place, I felt so much better, and I felt so much more
like
supported,
later.
and I felt so much more heard. And I was like, oh my God, was that an abusive relationship? Like what, like that
Like,
wasn't normal. And
yes.
sometimes you think it's supposed to be, and that's what I'm getting at with that nuance. And sometimes you think, oh, well, let me just thank you so much, dear agent from my, and it's like, you're right. I do 90% of the work, and I'm making 90% of the money. So here's my audition. Thank you so much for, submitting, period. And then you move on with your day.
And I feel like it can always be a conversation, and I feel like that was something that I like previously, they just didn't, it wasn't like that. It wasn't collaborative. And I feel like this, what I've learned working with, and then but I always was. So like, I did a lot of the commercials. And so the way that I like learned my communication style and what I think works, and getting to like, you have to know, how do you represent someone that you don't watch their tapes and you don't talk to them? How do you know who they are and what they can do? Like, I feel like a lot of the reason why I can like send a pitch confidently, because I know my actors really well, and I know what they can do, and I know what their strengths are, and I know like I can confidently write that email or pick up that phone and say like, you need to see this person for this reason, because I'm sure, and I don't make any bets that I'm not sure of. So so yeah, and I feel like that level of like, if you get an audition, yeah, be happy you got one, but also if you don't want to do it, let me know and tell me why. And like, let's like not submit for things like that anymore, so that I'm not wasting anyone's time. Like, it should be a collaborative conversation every time.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's not, again, something that everybody else does. And I'm so grateful for people like you who allow people to have that boundary. Because to answer your question, the way people get submitted when their agent doesn't know them, and not, best friends, but when their agent doesn't have a sense of their character as a human, like a regular human, a sense of, their energy, anything like that, then, you get submitted for ghetto girl number 2, when on a good day, I look like I'm gonna do your taxes and watch your children. Like my type is young professional. So when I remember once having an audition, and I can't even tell you which reps these were, so I don't know who I'm throwing under the bus for this, but it was like a battle rapper who performs consistently in strip clubs. And it was an episode of Tales featuring a Cardi B song. And I was like,
fun, but like maybe not for you. Yeah.
Exactly. The thing is, this is not theater. That's going to be a little harder to sell. So what I'm understanding is that you saw the age range and that I was Black, and you submitted me regardless of the rest of it, which then starts to get problematic, because I'm like, so is that all that you're seeing when you see my tapes? Because I should be reading for like FBI agent, lawyer, maybe I'm a residential doctor, like maybe it's that kind of thing. I mean, a resident doctor. Totally. So it sucks is what happens. They don't know you, and they stereotype you, and you get typecast by your own agents. So how are you expecting casting to treat you any differently?
Yeah. And knowing, something I talked about with a lot of I do year-end meetings. That's another thing I like to do with all my people, is just to sort of touch base and talk about the year, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, what our goals are, things like that. And a lot of them were saying, like, obviously if the breakdown has a specific ethnicity for a reason, like you're going to match the parents, or you're going to like, you've got a family that they're trying to cast around, or just the nature of the show, it's a period piece, if the ethnicity matters for a reason, but otherwise sort of like throwing that out a little bit and like kind of pushing the boundary on like what we can, like not focusing so much on age and ethnicity and more on who is this person and could a person who doesn't necessarily fit do it. And if so, like pushing for those things when we feel right about it, obviously not all the time and has to be the right thing. But, that was something interesting that more than one of them brought up that I took to heart, because I do feel like as agents, you see 1,000 breakdowns a day and 100, so many roles in it. And, sometimes if you're busy, you do just kind of throw people on. So obviously not when it's like series regulars, you take your time, but every now and then if you a 50 role breakdown from George Pierre comes in and you're just like, I don't know, and you just and we love it, but we can't always, it just gets overwhelming at times. And so so kind of not pigeonholing yourself and not and if the role is really awesome, and just sort of saying like, well, I know an actor that could do that. They're not white, but they're everything else. And the whiteness doesn't seem to matter to this character.
Usually isn't relevant.
Yeah, exactly. So
not that I'm upset about it at all. Not that I have.
No, I mean, obviously, like there'll be times where I'm going to be wrong. Like I'm sure, like if I try to pitch and, Chase and Tara might be like, it literally says white. Why are you doing, like, I'm sure I'll get in trouble every now and then, but, that doesn't mean I can't try. And it doesn't mean it's not worth sticking your neck out when you feel really confident about it. So I'm going to try to be better about that, but, but yeah.
Small guy. Okay. I would be remiss to not ask a couple more questions before we go. I actually should have thought about this earlier.
Yeah, no worries.
How often do you, or do agents in general, when you're really excited about an audition for one of your clients, the client submits, nailed it, you pass it on, how often do you go back up like to that casting director and you're like, hey, just checking in to see if this is already booked, really like so-and-so for this, I think they could be a great fit?
Well, we do that like quite often. If it's a big role, I don't follow up a ton on co-stars, but if it's like a recurring role or like a guest star, or definitely with the series regular, I will, or the lead in a film, I will definitely, we every week we do Monday, Friday, like grid meetings where we talk about, Mondays are like the pilots and the series regular type roles that are being cast all over the country. And then Fridays are our kind of local casting stuff that we follow up on. And so we definitely just kind of go through everything that's happening and sort of say like, okay, well, what did we have this week? Was anyone missed? Did anyone have a good audition? Did anyone have a callback? A lot of the times we're following up after callbacks, but if it's like a major role, then yeah, we will ask casting about it just to see if it's cast, to see if there's, oftentimes, maybe they're going to go another way with it, or the specs have changed, or, then we can kind of get that info and like at least let the client know like your audition was great, but it's moving in another direction. And I don't mind too. A lot of my actors will ask me to do that. If they feel really strongly about a certain audition, they'll be like, can you find out if this went anywhere? And I always can, usually can. I don't mind asking. And a lot of the times, I know some of my actors have told me like I'll get producer link emails. And so I'll know your audition went to producers, but like, sometimes I don't know if the actor wants to know that, like, because it just means it went in a link with a ton of other auditions, and like, still don't know that your chances are like so high, but like, I guess it's better that, because some actors are like, don't tell me. But then some are like, I want to know because I want to know if I'm turning in good work. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to submit anything that's not good. But so yeah, so some of them I tell every little step of the way, and then some are like, only call me if I book something. So, it just depends on
fair, though.
How the actor.
Sometimes getting that avail check and then nothing happens is worse than just like assuming that you did.
But I don't even avail check them. Like, so many casting directors will be like, can we check their avail? And like, I know they're available, so I just say, yeah, they're available. And then if it's like a pin, then I'm like calling you and being like, this is legit now.
But what's the difference? Because sometimes people use those interchangeably, and what they're saying is that you're so high up that we need to know your availability before we actually consider you to book you. Or is that wrong?
Yeah, then I'll I usually know by like who the casting director is and how they like to communicate. So like if if I know that this pin is a serious pin, then I'm going to call you and be like, this is legit. And if it's just like a pin, but really they mean they're pinning like 10 actors, then I may tell you that there's strong interest in you and just like let me know if anything comes up, but I'm not going to be like, you're the choice and I'm so excited. Like I'm going to wait until we have like they're approved by the studio, by the network, and like an offer is forthcoming before I call and excite you about that, because I don't want to let you down. But also I do think it's good for you to know that like I had a guy that like he kept going to producers and he doesn't care, like he cares, but he doesn't check in that much with me. So after like a month of like him consistently going in the producer link, I was like, hey, just letting you know, like almost every audition you've turned in has gone to producers for this show, and like they like you. Just keep doing what you're doing, and like it's working. And he was like, wow, like thank you so much. Like he didn't really care to like check in with me, but like I just wanted him to know that like he's doing good work. So each actor is different, and I try to like tailor the level of letting you know to however that actor likes to be informed.
No, I love that, and that's dope. I don't say that sounded sarcastic. I actually mean that's dope. I don't say dope ironically. I actually say it in real life. Contracts and negotiating. What do we need to know that usually we don't know? How much power do we actually have, and can we refute things that are in the contract?
What kind of people are on who's on this call? Is it
right?
Know what all I can say.
Are you checking to make sure you're not going to get like
I'm just seeing like I think you have a lot of power, more than you think. I think that I don't want to say, please don't take anything I say as Bible. All I can talk about is what I've experienced. But I do know that when you reach a certain level, like the power of no is very important. And you can know your worth, and you can say no. Now, it doesn't always work out for you. Sometimes they will pass. But if the deal isn't where it needs to be for you to feel like you're being valued, then then say no. And 9 times out of 10, well, maybe 7 times out of 10, they'll come back and amend something to make it more favorable. Sometimes they say, okay, we're moving on. There's nothing else we can do to sweeten this deal. And you lose sometimes, but I do think knowing where you need to stand firm, and what your must-haves are in a deal, and communicating that with your agent, and sort of, we always talk everything out, whether it's with a team or with just the actor if they don't have other rep, but knowing that like, yeah, you can stand firm, and also if I were an actor, I would familiarize myself with like all of the SAG contracts. Like, I mean, I know it's our job and we do, but like it doesn't hurt you to know too, just to like have a basic knowledge of what you're getting into, and some of this stuff, like when there's a lot of date changes and shifts and things like that, like what the rules are, whether it's a scale deal or an overscale deal, or consecutive employment and all these things. I just feel like they get like, it's overwhelming at times for actors, and I feel like they don't always, and that's why they have us, but it doesn't hurt you if you do want to look into it yourself, and having that knowledge to sort of just like supplement what we already are going to know and tell you. And also like, please take pictures of your contracts and your G's and stuff. Like it really helps us, because like later on, if something did go wrong and they didn't pay you right, if I don't have your contract and your G, and like I don't know what days you were, like it's just so helpful to just document everything that you can. We have an actor that like shows up to set with literally like all of the things he could ever need for that day in a folder, and he just hands it to them. It's like a check auth, his like loan out info, his W-9, his like his I-9, proof of citizenship, all that stuff that he just takes with him, and he goes, and then like when he gets his contract, takes a picture, sends it to us. Like it's just very, because productions do not always send us they're supposed to, but like I do not get a contract for every booking. Like maybe they're sending them out into the ether, but like it's pretty sporadic at times whenever I'm like, oh great, this person's contract is here, but like half the time I don't even get it. So yeah, you guys helping us out in that way by staying organized and like taking photos and just documenting things, when you're COVID testing, when you're fitting, the hours, all that, so that when the checks come, it makes life easier to like know if they're right.
this part, I feel like, of the acting industry, because you're like, I finally booked a co-star, and you're like, okay, I finally booked another co-star. Maybe this co-star is in 2 episodes. I don't say anything in 7 episode, but I'm still there. Like that stuff gets very exciting, but very quickly you're like out of your depth because the contracts start to feel different and start to say something different. And there's all these rules because a lot of people don't know. For example, if you're filming like Monday, Tuesday, and a couple other days in the week, they can either drop you in between or keep paying you for the whole week.
Yeah, there are rules about like,
about
when and how they can do that, and depending on what you're paying. And so keeping us informed is super helpful to make sure that you're getting paid appropriately and correctly for what you're doing. Because a lot of times they'll try to, it's SAG, so it should be above board and you should be protected, but like, doesn't hurt to just be triple careful. Yeah.
I think what we're going to need to do, Taylor, if you're willing, is we have a couple of months. I think next month we're talking to a manager. April, we're talking to a casting director. We're going to circle back to, I think we need to circle back to, okay, you booked it. Now what do you do?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that could
like,
be
what do you read over?
segment.
And if you're willing to come back, I would love to have you. We can discuss those things as well.
Yeah, just let me know when.
Okay, I don't want to steal too much of the time because now it's time to look at some people's packages. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. How is it you're gonna share screen or something?
I'm gonna share my screen. I've pinned the first like 6 that I got. We'll see how many we go through.
Okay.
Hold on. Make sure there's nothing weird in my browser.
I feel like so many people were asking questions and I couldn't answer them on this chat. Like,
oh, we're gonna circle back. There's absolutely a Q&A portion. Okay. I'm not a monster.
Okay, I was like, these people are asking me things and I'm like, I can't.
Okay. Forgot how to use my phone for a second. Okay. Is there a weird box in the center of this for you guys? Okay, yeah, it's only sharing a portion of the screen. Hold on. Why isn't it sharing the whole screen? Please don't judge me for the quality of my understanding of Zoom. Okay, I barely know how to got it. Here we go. So this is an email from Adele. I'm sure you know Adele. Adele was a LARPer with me in Hawkeye. She's awesome. I think you can see the whole screen. So here it is, and I can open the links when you're ready. Okay. I'll read it. It says, "Hi, Taylor. I've had my eye on the Alexander White agency for a while now, and I love the reputation of your agency's go-getter spirit. I was hoping we could set up a meeting to chat further and see if signing with AWA would be a good fit for us both. I have attached my resume and headshot for your reference, and my reel can be found on my IMDb page. My latest credit was playing Missy in Marvel's Hawkeye, and I just booked another role filming in March with Goldstein Paris. Congratulations, Adele. That's dope." So for those of you that don't know Adele, this is her headshot.
Perfect.
Yeah, stunning. I'm so biased. I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, I mean,
and then here's
this is literally like a perfect submission because it's short. It doesn't say too many things up front. It's a current up-to-date resume that I can easily click. And a headshot that I can easily click. So from that point, if like I scan this resume and I look at the photo, the headshot, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested. Then I love that there are these other things I can explore more if I would like to check out a demo reel, if I would like to go to the Actors Access, all those things. Having the little links like that is like super helpful. Love that. I mean, I really, at this point, like literally if I saw this, I would not be annoyed by this. And I would probably, if I needed this type, I would probably reach out. It comes down to also, I don't know if you guys do this, but you can go on IMDb and like see who people rep. And like mine is a little skewed because I have all the commercial people on mine too. Well, not all of them, but I have some of them that I don't rep theatrically that are on there. But all my people I do rep theatrically are on my IMDb. So you can see, and it'll say if I'm their theatrical agent on the side. I don't know if that's only a pro feature or not. I don't know if that's helpful to say, but like
it's only on IMDb Pro.
Oh, it is. Do you know how much pro is? Like, is it worth, like, do you guys, I use it
I think
every
it's
day.
worth it because I'm
Yeah.
also just a nerd. So when I'm watching TV, I'm like, who is that
Me
person?
too.
I feel like I watched them in a
look up
movie in
everything.
1995, and I did. So
Yeah.
IMDb Pro is great for that because it'll tell you everybody's grandma and like all of the things. There is a
Oh,
SAG
this
discount.
person says there's a SAG discount. Yeah.
I think
So
it's
yeah,
about 150. I want to say I might
a
be wrong,
year?
but it's over 100 less than 2.
But it's like per year.
Yes.
I mean, I highly recommend it because, I mean, even once you get an agent, I use it for so many things. Like, it's not even just, but if you do have it, you can kind of see, does this agent already have a ton of my type? And you can look at the agency as a whole, not just me. So you could say, oh, well, Taylor already has my type, but Drew doesn't, or Paloma doesn't, or Alex doesn't. And like, maybe you can tailor your submission to the appropriate person. Because if you call me out in an email, I'm like more likely to like read it versus if it's just hello team, you know, because I might feel like, oh, well, whoever's interested can reply, you know.
That's
And
great strategy.
just getting so many submissions a day, like, you know, knowing that like that's
Put a number on it. How many would you say you get a day?
Like hundreds. Like it, like I can
Of submissions to be repped.
Yes.
Wowza.
So, you know, and then people will call and they'll be like, did you get my submission? And it's like, yes. If we are like right now, there's 168 unread. And we go through them like once a week and sort of categorize them. So, I mean, that's a lot that we haven't gotten to go over yet. And once we go over them, we sort them and then we decide like, you know, where are the holes of the biggest thing is before I even go in the submission folder, I will say to myself, what holes do I have on my list and what am I, because that just helps me not get overwhelmed, you know. Then I can go to like, since we sort them, I can go to like a category and be like, okay, 30-year-old men, diverse, and I can search in that category and I can see like, okay, here's some people that have submitted in the last month, you know, things like that. But that is literally great, like short, sweet, to the point. Also, if there's anything that you do special skills, like if you speak any other languages, if you like can ride a horse, if you are trained, like if you can play piano, if you're trained in like martial arts, any of the stuff that like you actually are good at, not just like kind of good, but you are good at it.
In her defense, she had special skills. I just didn't scroll all the way down.
Oh, she did? Let me see.
Yeah. Do you want me to show you? Hold on.
Or when you share back your screen. But yeah, those things also I take into account because like if I'm really looking for someone who can, okay, yeah, perfect. But you may even want to highlight that like in your email, like if there was something that you felt like really strong about, like if you speak Italian and Mandarin, I need to know that because like there's not a ton of people that speak that fluently. So I would, you know, really consider like it'd be great to have somebody on the list who could speak literally any other language, you know. Like I feel like so many people, they say they can and then I get them the audition and they're like, well, I don't know, I'm more conversational, and I'm like, that's not fluent.
That's not what you said.
Yeah.
Okay, for the sake of time, let's go to the next one. Okay, so thank you so much, Adele. Oh, here, let me ask you this. When we're doing this, I can take myself off of Spotlight and then spotlight the person who we're talking about, and you can talk to them. Does that feel good for everybody? Would you guys be willing to do that? You good? Okay. So the next person we have, drum roll. So many things to move. My internet's slow.
One thing that like I would maybe have added is like if you have a place like a Vimeo or like anywhere where you store like password protected, like well, I guess that doesn't matter because I would, at that point, if I was interested, I'd probably reach out and say, do you have any recent auditions that you can share? So having like a Venmo or like an account where you save some of those like heavy hitter auditions that you feel really proud of, because we interview people either by making them do like come in and do a cold read for us, or we will just ask for a recent audition. So if you have a good recent one, then that's helpful because I'll just watch that instead of like doing a cold read with you. So.
Okay, so next up, thank you for that because that is helpful. I'm gonna learn to be smoother at doing this, but thank you for accepting me with all of my flaws. Our next spotlight is on Arlene Bozich. Hello, these are the links and documents I currently have. If you think they're up to par, please pass them on. Otherwise, I'll attend the nightcap tonight and learn a ton and help to help me clean them all up. Thank you for inviting me. So let's look at headshot.
Good.
Eyes are beautiful. And then you got Arlene's. Here, let me zoom in. I'm a bad millennial, guys.
You're fine. I can read it.
Okay,
I can
so
get
here we
my.
go. So there's theater. We've got film and TV, education, special skills.
Are you mainly a theater? Like, are you trying to pursue where's your passion? I would maybe, if you're trying to pursue TV film, I'd maybe put those credits at the top.
Yeah, I right before the pandemic, I was getting ready to do a bunch of TV film workshops and like finally make that transition, but we all know how the pandemic went. So I am now in the next few weeks. That's why I told Adetinpo, I was like, hey, if they're not clean, don't worry about it. But I am based in New York right now. I am trying to make the transition over to TV film.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So I would maybe flip-flop that, and then I would make sure, did it have, can you go back to the email?
Sorry, hold on.
I feel like
trying to get prepared.
I'm trying to remember, like, so it had 3 links. So
yeah,
I would,
so it had my website has
That's
my
what I was
writing on it.
doing.
It has, yeah.
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So it has website, it has IMDb, and does
Oh,
it
I
have
had
an actor's access? Perfect. Those 3 links to sort of see who you are. I like that you have a way for us to read more about you here.
Got reviews.
short film.
Is your okay? And I can go back to
Yeah. I don't have a cleaned up reel because the one from before the pandemic was okay, but like watching it now, I'm like, it's dated and it's completely different than who I am.
So in that case, if you didn't have a reel, I would probably like reach out if I was interested. Like if you get past the phase of, okay, do I need you on my list at all right now? In this time, then I would be like, hello, I noticed you didn't provide a reel. Do you have any recent auditions that you can share with me? Or I can send you a set of sides and you can tape a mock audition for me. We do that sometimes too. So, yeah, that was good. And I know you were sending it for like this event, but like, obviously if you were submitting to an agency, you would like make a blurb about yourself and stuff like that. Yeah. And keeping it short and sweet is good. Like if you have a referral, like on our website, it says that we take submissions by referral only. And I mean, that just means that like, we're probably heavily going to consider the ones that come from trusted sources, but that doesn't mean we're not looking at all of them. We do look at all the submissions. So, you know, maybe putting in there if you know any of the people we rep, or if you have any special skills, or like you said, your situation, if you're in New York, where you are is helpful to know. I mean, it doesn't really deter me from reaching out because I don't care where people live now that COVID has sort of changed the game with like self tapes, and you can kind of book something off a tape, even a callback on tape now. So, so I'm cool with people living anywhere, but I just like to know, it helps me decide, like, you know, all that. So yeah, that was good. I don't really have any notes other than maybe I would put something about yourself in there so that we know, a blurb. But other than that, yeah, good.
Thanks, Arlene.
Thanks.
Yeah, I feel bad, guys. Like, it all really does boil down. And I know every agent is gonna like, we get some submissions that are like crazy. Like, I'm like, why would someone send this? But it doesn't necessarily all come down to the way that you submit to us. You can make a great submission, and it can be just that our roster is just full of your category, and we can't have that many conflicts. And like, that literally is the reason. So it's not, doesn't even have to do with like your talent or anything. So, sorry. Like, sometimes there's not anything I can do other than it's just not the right time, And
I think it's a matter of accepting truly that it's not personal. It is business.
It is not. Yeah.
And it doesn't work for the agency or the other people on the roster if there are 20 people who look just like you and can do what you do, but obviously don't have your essence. You want to go somewhere where you're the only type. And that's actually a great reason why IMDb Pro is so useful. Is it weird that I'm talking and you can't see me? That IMDb Pro is so useful because you can look at somebody's roster and go, okay, these people don't have anybody like me. I'm going to submit. It's also great on the back end for audition prep, because if you don't know anything about thank you to whoever did that. If you don't know anything about the project itself, You can go and look at the writers. You can see what else they've written. You can go look at the producers, see what else they've produced. You can go look at the director if they haven't worked in 20 years, or the last thing they did was a horror slasher film, but this is a rom-com. It'll give you a sense of tone, especially for pilots, especially for first season shows that you haven't seen any of the episodes for. So if you're not sold on IMDb Pro, that is another great reason to do it. This is not sponsored by IMDb, but if they want to sponsor us, I will not be.
They should. I would love to be sponsored by IMDb Pro, but I use it. I'm telling you, every day, because I'm so creepy. I look my actors up every day and like look at their page. I like to make sure everything is like current and up to date. I really hate when I go to like review a submission and then like your stuff isn't current, or like the resumes aren't updated and like things like that. So I just like to like check on people, make sure they're updating things properly.
Okay, our next person is this guy. B Todd, it's not me. So I'm gonna go away.
Hey, how's
Hi.
everybody?
Good.
Taylor, nice to meet you.
You too.
Okay, so do you want to read it actually? Is that weird? I don't know.
To read my own
Email?
yeah,
I'll read it.
I'll break the fourth wall.
Okay, cool.
Hey, my name is B Todd. I'm a SAG-AFTRA born and raised, or SAG-AFTRA actor, could have said, born and raised in Atlanta. I have been living and working in New York City, but I have to move back home now. My good friend Elliot Dixon passed along the info for tonight, as I'm looking for representation in Atlanta now, as I've been inactive in Atlanta for about the past 5 years.
Okay, so that gives us context, right? So that's actually just for me to receive this email. This is the part you would have sent her.
So I studied at both UGA and SCAD, Go Dogs. My most recent bookings include Power Book 2, Ghost on Stars, Hulu's Wu-Tang American Saga, as well as some independent features. I also write and produce my own short films, which have won awards for Best Screenplay, Best Short, and Best Comedy. Just wanted to send along my headshot, resume, and demo links, if possible, to try and get in front of Taylor before the Zoom meeting tonight. I've attached everything below.
Okay, thank you for reading that. I feel like that might have been too meta. Next time I'll read it. Really here's your headshot.
Okay.
Okay, and here is the resume. So got name, height, all the good things, union.
TV, yeah, okay. Yeah, training skills, perfect. So you have this headshot of you have no beard, and then you have like this huge beard. So does your other materials do you have other looks if I were to click?
Yeah,
these
so
links
I have
can
other looks
see your
with beard.
picture?
This is definitely by far the longest it's ever been.
Okay.
Sorry, that's New York being New York outside.
No, you're good. No, I definitely, yeah, the context is also good for me, even though it might have just been for you at Adetinpo, but I like knowing like where you are and if you're moving here. And if so, are you going to remain here, or are you going to try to be like I'm here, I'm a local hire here, but I really live here? It doesn't matter. I just like knowing. So yeah, that was I like, you don't have to like always, you can just quickly say if you don't want to like spell your whole life out to me, but just saying like, hey, I'm here and I plan to stay here, or I'm here because I have a place to stay and I plan to visit frequently and I can work local here if I have to, things like that. And then
You want to see?
Did the links?
This is actually, yes, it did. God bless the Wi-Fi in my house. So I think this is actually really cool. I don't know how this plays on your side though, Taylor.
Yeah, I like this. Are these all, these are all clips from stuff that's just already aired that you have performed in, correct? Like none of this is like password protected, like.
Correct. No, this is on YouTube. It is public. It's just clips instead of one big reel.
Cool. Yeah, that's totally fine. Do you have one like highlight reel if somebody wanted to watch that, like a quick like 3-minute reel of like the best things you've done?
I'm getting one cut, so I just wanted to wait until my appearance on Ghost came out, and so now that I've got that, I'm just about to stitch the new one together.
You just said something interesting. I've been told so many times to only have a 1-minute reel and then try to cut everything down, but you're saying a solid 3-minute one isn't awful.
1 minute. Okay, 3 minutes only if all 3 of those minutes are like you opposite like legitimate people with like meaty scenes. I guess I'm saying that if you have a minute of footage, but like you're just kind of like you're there, but it's not really about you. yeah, I would just say like I would just want to watch it and let you know if like the material is superfluous. But like I have some people that have 3-minute reels that like the whole 3 minutes is important. It's like showing a different character, it's showing a different style of show, it's showing a different range that they have emotionally, or it's showing like them opposite like a different star. I mean, like it can matter. But yeah, but the clips are also nice. Like I don't know. I don't think it's bad to be 3 minutes. Maybe, I mean, maybe a casting director would say that I'm wrong, but I will watch it all, or I'll click around, if I see, oh, this is a procedural they did for FBI next, and then I'll see like what the next thing, I will, I think if you have the material and you have so much of it that you're struggling, then I don't think it's bad if it's a little longer. 2 minutes, maybe more, maybe better, but yeah, I don't care how long it is, but we like to have it as long as it's a small file, because I upload the demo reels with like all the auditions like almost every time, because casting always asks for it, so I just go ahead and upload it. And fun fact, they can't download it on their side from casting, from breakdown, so like we have to upload it if we want them to be able to download it. So I just always do that because it's easier for them, and a lot of them ask me to, but some of them don't, and I just do it because I just want them to have it if they want it.
Sorry, I'm trying to find Kate. There she is. The next person to add the spotlight to, this is Capri, and this is her email.
I sent you a different one because I was in a hurry, but I sent you the one that is better. Sorry about that.
Hi, everyone, looking at my email inbox. Okay, here we go. Hi, Taylor. My name is Capri, and I have had a big foot in Hollywood for well over a decade in independent scene. Now that the world is returning halfway back to normal, I'm seeking representation. A few fun facts. I have been acting since 6th grade and hold a BFA in drama from Howard University. I moved here in Jesus Christ. I moved here in 2019, but in light of 2020, I still feel pretty new here. I have written and produced my own, my 2 well-received autobiographical solo plays. I am currently studying with Tim Phillips and recently invested in Christine Horn's self-tape course. Attached a few headshots for you to review. Full gallery can be found here. Please see my reel and website links in my email signature.
Okay.
So, well, let's look at the pictures first.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about there being multiple?
I don't mind it since it's going to our info account, but if you email my personal email, like I don't love attachments because they clog my inbox up. So like if you attach something, just like really small files is okay. Because my inbox will be slow if it's like full of, Okay.
Copy that. So here we go. Television, film. Do you care about what order television and film is in? I'm asking for myself.
I don't think I do. That might be a question for like a casting. Like I don't care. I will look at it, but if casting has a preference, then, but I will scroll through the whole thing regardless. I just am used to having it be like, I guess more of maybe like whatever you have more of. If you're like more impressed with your film or your TV, whichever one you have more of, maybe put that first so that it's like eye catching. I don't know. Yeah, I like when people have, I know like it's kind of phasing away, and I feel like people don't keep them updated, but I kind of like it because I like to see like who people are. So, and I feel like sometimes like the casting sites, they show me what you've done, but they don't necessarily give me like a good view of like, so sometimes I will literally like creep on you on Instagram just to see like, what is your vibe? Are you somebody that like I could work? Because like one of my biggest things is like, am I going to connect with them? Because our roster is so small, and because I'm so selective with how I choose to add to it, like there has to be a level of like, the vibe check, so so I will creep, and I will always set up like a meeting first before like talking any sort of like moving forward steps. Like I'll always be like, can we meet and just see if we fit,
Any feedback for
good.
Capri?
Do what?
Any feedback for Capri and her?
Yeah, I like that you put the drive link. Does that like share for anyone that has the link? Because sometimes people share things with me via drive and I click it and then it's like you don't have access, and I don't ever like go through the trouble of requesting access. So just making sure that all your links are actually like going to take me where they're supposed to go. But yeah, that, and I don't mind multiple attachments to the info account because we can clean that one out. And then yeah, I mean, I think from that point I would just, it wasn't too long, and I would look at it for sure. there was nothing glaring. You guys are all good. Like I thought there was gonna be some crazy ones where it's like we get
These
some,
are
like,
professionals, Taylor.
y'all are, because we get some like Snapchat headshot submissions and stuff. I just was like expecting like trauma, and it's been fun. You guys know what to do.
So can I ask you this? Have
Mhm.
you ever gotten a TikTok submission where there was nothing written, it was just a TikTok video of them pitching themselves?
Oh, I'm sure we have, but I don't go. I can't say that I have come across it, but I bet Paloma, she goes through the submissions like every day. I bet she's seen it. She sends us. We have like a folder where we save just the ones that make us smile. You know, whether for good or for bad, we save them and we go back and we like look at them because like it just, I don't know. Sometimes it's. But sometimes we email them and we'll be like, this is not how you should. If we have time, we will be like, okay, like we like what you're doing here, but like this, we gotta fix this. But yeah, people are sweet, but sometimes they're just so green and I just am like, ugh. But this is good. I feel like all of you guys have at least taken a class, or y'all know how to organize a resume. That those emails have been very like concise, to the point. They're not overwhelming. You have the right links. You know, that's all the stuff I look for.
Any questions, Capri?
Well, I'm SAG eligible, and I know I'm in a market where commercials aren't like LA. I know that for sure. And I'm a multi-hyphenate. So is there any advice you would give for someone like myself that's not just an actor, that's only SAG eligible? Like, is that, I think it's a blessing and a curse, because I know it's a right to work state. But then do you guys look at that as like sometimes like you'd rather deal with someone that's just SAG, or does it just depend on the situation?
No, I do not care at all. The only time I care is if you tell me you're going to move to LA or New York, then I'm like, okay, you should join the union, because you're going to have to, A, and B, it's just easier to get auditions there, like you said,
Yeah.
because it's must join. So no, but if you just want to, if for right now you're focusing on like building your resume in our market, and across the Southeast, it doesn't, I don't care if you're just saggy and you don't, I mean, I don't think it matters if you put it, and I don't think casting in our market cares either, but like the only time I've ever seen it matter is on like a SAG commercial where they want extras. That's like the only time I've seen it matter. So I don't think it matters if you want to just list it. And then obviously if you're submitting in like LA or something, just like maybe, I mean, it doesn't matter. They're going to find out. They're going to run your station 12. Just put SAGgy. If you book something in that market, you'll join, you know, that's what I always say. Like, yeah, they're SAG eligible, but like they can join in literally 1 minute, a phone call to the union. Like you can join if you have to. So I don't think it should hinder you at all.
Okay, thank you.
Nice, thank you, Capri. Next up, we've got, and it's gonna be the last one just so we can get to people's questions. You've got Laura Vogue. Oh, Jesus, say your own name. I'm so sorry.
Laura Vogels.
Vogels,
You're all
oh,
good.
that's what I thought, and then I got nervous. You got to lead with confidence, guys. Don't follow my lead on this one. Okay, I'm
You're
gonna share.
charming.
Look at her website.
Okay.
Many thanks to Profound. Yes, thank you, Profound, for facilitating these things and helping me when I am a Zoom inept, but also starting storyteller sessions so that we can have moments like this. I thought, sorry, that was all me talking, not the email. I thought I'd include my submission material just in case you need them. So we've got a website with reel and clips, voiceover commercial reel, actors access profile. Side note, I joined the Haircut Madness post quarantine and made the snip. So I've included my usual package and some intern headshots with new hair. Hopefully I wasn't paraphrasing that too much.
That's all right.
So we'll look at more recent an older headshot with long hair.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a newer headshot with short hair. Love your curls.
Yeah, I like the short hair. It's cute.
You
Thank
didn't
you.
ask me though. I like it. Okay, we've got our header, of course. European passport.
Love
Wow.
that.
Yes. And British equity. That's
Yeah,
very
if
cool.
any of you have
So we got
citizenship
theater.
in any place besides here, put that too. Any passports you have, any citizenship you have is good. Okay, so we got theater. So I would maybe switch the theater and the TV film order.
Yeah.
I like that you have your training. Commercials, people are divided on this, but my personal feeling about commercials is put conflicts are available upon request. I do
Okay.
not want to know. I mean, I want to know, but I do not want all the people to know what all your conflicts are, because they might not want to book you if they see you did Coca-Cola 10 years ago, then Pepsi doesn't want you for no reason other than they just being petty. So I just say available upon request. That way, anything that's currently a conflict, we can let casting know. But you can just have it say, you know, if you've done, like, I have some people who put like however many national campaigns they've done, conflicts available upon request, you know, things like that.
And then here is her website. This is the landing page.
And so voiceover is, I saw you had like a voiceover reel. Sorry, I'm having a
No,
headache here.
enjoy.
Do you want me to play any of that, or you just noting
Oh
that it's
no,
there?
I was just curious if was the I maybe I missed, if I didn't pay attention to the, was it looking for voiceover rep and TV film, or was
Yeah,
it just,
it's kind of a, you know, whatever.
you were just saying
you
I
guys
can do
need.
all these things? Yeah,
I can do all these things. Here you go. You know,
Perfect.
like also speak Dutch. So it's like I get sent out for a lot of like, if you know, Marvel needs a Dutch person or a villain, you know, like that's the kind of stuff
Yeah,
that.
that's cool. Are
Yeah.
you Dutch, or you just speak it?
No, I am Dutch,
Very
but I have
cool.
an American passport, so I'm like
Very
I have
cool.
both.
Okay, that's definitely, see, that's a way to stand out. Like, there's not a ton of people like you, you know, so that's
Yeah.
my dog.
Hi, puppy. This is a cutie. I'm Dutch and 6 foot, so like that makes me different.
A very unique, yeah, that is like,
Yeah.
Can I ask a question for the tall girls? Because some of my tall, strong Amazonian women who have incredible training, I'm talking about Arlene, I'm talking about Adele, I'm talking about Laura, where the guys tend to run short. Are there words
Why?
that are, are there any words of wisdom, any sort of feedback in that regard when it comes to submitting? Because I've seen that be a roadblock for people who are incredibly talented.
like, I mean, unfortunately, you cannot fix your height, but yeah, I mean, because it's so annoying, but it might come down to like they're casting a guy who's short, and so like you don't get to do it because it'll look weird on camera, and like that's literally like not even fair. But
Also,
that
I
is-
date shorter guys. Let us
yeah,
let's get them short kings in.
I do not think it matters, but you know, people do. People will say like, okay, although I will say like on the breakdowns, I don't really ever see them say that the women need to be short unless like it's very important to that character, you know. Sometimes they want them to be tall, like I'll be like women 5'6" and over or whatever. Very rarely do I see it say like they have to be under a certain height. So I would say don't think about it and audition, and maybe say like how tall you are without shoes on, you know. And then, but if you think it matters to the role, like if you're supposed to be an Amazonian warrior princess, then heck yeah, say that you're 5'11" and, you know, like own it. But I don't think that it will, I mean, if it hinders you, it's literally something you can't control, and it's like a how we shoot it situation, you know. Which is sad. But I mean, if Kevin Hart can be in all these things and he's like 5 feet tall, then like why can't women be
Yeah,
6 feet tall?
put them on an apple box, make it work.
Exactly. Just shoot around it, make it work, you know.
Totally.
Any feedback for Laura before we go to general Q&A?
Yeah, I would just maybe swap those things on your resume and add the conflicts portion. And you had all the right links though. Actors Access and oh, did you have a demo reel anywhere? Did you put that?
On the website, it's
On the
there.
website. Okay, but then I would find it. I mean, usually I don't need all that to be like the website is good, because if I see your headshots and your resume and I think like, okay, I want to look at more, as long as there's a place I can find it easily, then that's
Do you
good.
want the Insta as well?
I would probably
She's like, yes, let me stalk you.
I'm gonna creep on
would.
you, make it
I would.
easier for
I just
you.
like to see who you are, like what kind of stuff do you do, and like, are you somebody that like, I don't know. I feel like you can tell a lot about what people post. So, I mean, they also put their best foot forward, but I mean, I don't. I post only Lucy. Like that's literally all I put. So if you
That
saw
is the
mine,
best foot.
you'd be like, oh well, she just loves her dog. You know, you
Yeah.
would infer that about me. So,
How do you feel?
yeah, I don't mind if you want to put it, especially since sometimes there's like, you know, behind the scenes stuff you've done from, you know, things you've shot, or maybe there's like a places you've lived or something. I don't know, just give me a better picture of the whole person. So, but it doesn't need to be like front and center. If it's just like on your website or whatever, I also can just Google it too, but it doesn't hurt.
Thank you very much, Laura. Oh, do you have one more question? Sorry.
Yeah, one more question. And that's,
Okay.
you kept mentioning like, this is the list of like types that I look through. Like, this is the filter I apply to the submissions.
Mm.
I would love to know a little bit about what your, like what the language around your types are. Does that make sense?
Yes, but it's whatever.
Is this like asking how you pick girls to join your sorority?
Yeah, I feel like bad,
Oh.
but
No.
also like this is our world, you know, like.
No, but that's the reality. And I think that's something that I found particularly, I've been in this industry for 10 years. I know, like people have been like, you're too tall, too old, too white, too whatever. Like, I've heard it all. So like,
It is that pretty much. It's like, well, now I've sort of gone from like white, old, we have old whiteys, young whiteys, and then it's like diverse men, diverse women, children, and then like 55 and up category, because like we have like a hard time finding older people who want to change their life. You know, most older people are like, they already have their agent and they've had them for 50 years and they just want to keep it, you know, so like we're always on the lookout for like older people too. But yeah, just those kinds of categories. And then once we sort of sort them, it just helps me to be able to be like right now on my list, I feel like my list is like so diverse, but a lot of people are multi-ethnic and like mixed in a lot of ways. And I feel like I would like to sign some people who are all one thing, that like, because I feel like it's been hard lately because there's a big push in Hollywood for authenticity and I've kind of been feeling like we're running into some issues with like, well, they are Mexican, but they're also white, you know, and like but then castings like they don't look enough. One thing, they don't look enough, another thing. So it's like, it's all stuff that like political stuff aside, this is the way that like this is what they are saying with when the breakdowns come out. So I would like to find some people that just fill some holes I feel like I have on my list. And
I would get in trouble if I didn't ask you, what holes do you have to fill on your list?
Right now, I really don't have any women that are over. Do what?
I'm gonna unpin Laura.
Okay. I really don't have any women who are over like 35 really. So I'm kind of looking for like some mom types, even grandma types. I don't have any I need some like 20-year-olds too. I feel like all my people are in this 29 to 35-year-old range, and it's just hard for breakdowns too. I mean, most of them want, you know, high school kids or like moms, and this like they're forgetting about all of us young professionals. I mean, that we do see it for sure, but it's just not as prevalent. So I'm looking for like early 20s and then like above 40, and then but really any age for ethnicities that I don't have. Like I would love any kind of like Southeast Asian or I have a couple South Asian, but like, you know, any like, I feel weird talking about this, but like any like Asian people,
Indian, Filipino,
please come my way. If you speak Korean, I would love to rep you. Just things like that are hard to find in our market, you know. And I mean, really like all diverse types are great. I feel like AWA, my personal roster is diverse, but AWA as a whole, we're diverse, but we do still, it's probably 50% white people, 50% diverse. And so we're trying to change that. So, I mean, we're definitely looking at all submissions from, and white people too. Like, I don't mean to discount you, but you know.
But sincere representation of the global majority.
Yes.
I'm mad at it.
Yes.
Now we're going to go to the questions in the chat. Haley asks, does casting always alert agents when actor audition is going through to producers? Great question.
No. Some do, like some religiously do. And then some, like literally you don't know anything until you've booked it. So we know the ones that always will. So like we don't need to follow up because that casting office has probably already told us whether or not people went forward. But like Tara and Chase, they're so busy and they don't even have assistants half the time. They do for some projects, but so they aren't really often giving us like constant updates. But if we check in, they will let us know. So we can do that for them. But like
even if
in canons, they always let us know.
So if it's not being followed up, so if the casting director is not following up, all agents have the capacity to follow up on your behalf.
They do. I would maybe say we don't want to do that after every audition. We don't want to like inundate but we did talk to casting directors when we started doing our grid meetings pretty regularly, like every week. We said like, would it bother you if like once a week we emailed you a list of questions? Like maybe we had like 4 things we wanted to ask about various projects and we just wanted to follow up. And most of them said like no problem at all. So like we've been doing that, and like that's kind of a way for us to like kind of get the info we need without being a pest. We just ask it all at once, and then they can like short answer reply like cast still open, callbacks impending, things like that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Haley, hopefully that answered your question. Jan, what's the difference between a supporting, Jan asks, sorry, what's the difference between a supporting and a principal role? Also, which has more clout? I believe principal role, and I know you're not technically asking me, but a principal role is just a role with lines.
Yeah. Yes. Like if I saw principal, I would think like co-star, because otherwise you would have written guest star, recurring, series regular. And supporting, I feel like refers to like a film, like you weren't the lead, you were supporting. So I mean, I would say put what it was, like if you booked a film and you were a supporting character and it had a name. I know everyone like puts on their resume, not everyone puts like the role name. You don't have to if you didn't have a name, totally don't have to. But like I would put what it was. Like if it was a co-star, just write co-star. If it was unnamed, like, just write co-star. You don't need to put like, I can go on your IMDb and see like what it was, and also I see all the breakdowns. So I can also like figure it out, So I think I would write supporting if it was a film, and then I would write co-star or guest star or whatever it was if it was a show.
Okay. Jan, hopefully that was helpful. Adele asks, thoughts on working?
Principal. Brian said principal and commercial work. Yeah. So OCP is a principal performer on a commercial. That means you are the star of the commercial or one of them if you are a principal.
What does that stand for, OTP? On talent principal?
OCP, on camera principal.
Okay.
I would, but I wouldn't list your commercials out on there.
So there's that.
You don't need to worry about that.
Adele says, thoughts on working with managers. I imagine she means agents working with managers, but maybe also actors working. Okay, agents working with managers.
We love teams, but you will want to discuss with your agent how they like to do that. Every agency will have a different, they might not like certain people. They might have had a bad experience. They might have rules like, for instance, AWA, we don't work with people that don't do a split with us, a commission split. So that can limit you. And how, because a lot of LA or New York rep don't want to do that. I don't know why, because it's free money. It's everybody making money. We feel like everybody works hard all day, every day towards a common goal. And so like when an actor books something, regardless of who got that initial appointment, as long as everyone's pulling their weight, we just feel like everyone should profit and eat a piece of that pie, because that's just because we're all working so hard all year. And so when you finally book something great and you're excited about it, that's just been Alex's rule from the start. And honestly, it's helped us. We've got some great relationships with managers and other agents in other markets, and they don't mind doing this split with us because they know that we're going to provide value. So
transparency and people who are easy to work with, sounds like.
Yeah, and letting your agent know, like when you're thinking about that, like say, hey, I'm wanting to add to the team, and they might say like that it might not be the right time. I mean, I feel like a lot of people jump the gun with it, like they want to do it so fast, and I feel like In recent experience, it's been, unless you're kind of at that recurring guest level at least, or unless your type is very specific and they really need you, it's hard to get them to do it. Or unless you're like, maybe you're like 17 and you haven't really popped yet, but you're like super talented, you know, it just depends. It's all case by case. But yeah, I would talk to your agent about it first if you have a good rapport with them. If you don't, and you're just like, maybe I'll see if I can get a manager, because then you want to just cut ties with your agent. Well, okay, that's fine. But you know, if you have a good relationship with them and you care about their opinion, then I would talk it through. And then maybe they can say, oh, well, actually, I have a relationship with this guy who's been looking for your type. Let's connect, you know, things like that. So
That's true. I appreciate that. And hopefully, Adele, that was solid. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just, when you say commission split, do you mean just like no matter who books the project, you both, versus like if the manager books only the manager, if you book only the agent gets it?
well, with managers, it's just 10%. So that really doesn't matter. I guess I was thinking like a team, like with like, if you have an LA manager, an LA agent, and us, then we would need to find a way to split that up somehow. But the actor can never be paying more than like 20%. So our ideal split is like 7-7-7. But you know, some places won't do that. Like some will say, okay, well, we'll take 7% whenever we book it and you get 3, and then vice versa. But yeah, if you just only want to add a manager, then that's fine, 10 and 10. They shouldn't care. But just making sure that like, because sometimes what happens is you get with a manager and then that manager immediately wants to place you with another agent. So a lot of times you run into an issue about the split after you've added the manager, and then you're like, oh crap, we didn't talk about that. I didn't know about the split. And so it's just like letting them know up front that like your agency, if they don't care, then who cares? But for us, I would just say, when my people are looking and adding to their team, I just say, make sure everybody knows that like this is how we operate, so that we don't run into any issues later on. And it just helps being communicative up front.
Okay, that's good to know, because I wasn't sure. If I just assumed it was always when you book something and you have an agent and a manager, now they both get 10%.
You do if you only have an agent and a manager. But if like if you get with a manager and then the manager wants to get you an agent in another market, then a lot of times that agent only want you to pay them. And then the manager gets paid no matter what, but then the agents have to decide who gets paid. So just letting them know, like I know some agencies in the Southeast don't care if they don't get paid when their client books in LA, because the LA talent agent booked them, but we care. So like just letting your manager know that, like the manager gets paid either way, so they shouldn't care. But when they're trying to like place you, you know, then they need to know that that's a thing that your agency will care about. And that's also something like we've lost people over it too. Like it's something that's just unique to us. So just making sure that you know how your agency likes to operate when you're going into the manager meeting. But yeah, once you have the manager, if it's just you're one agent and the manager, it's just 10-10. So no complicated. But
Gotcha. Thank you.
Ashley Denise asks, can you share an anecdote about an actor who auditioned maybe for the same office several times and finally broke through, and just a success story?
Okay. Oh, but also to touch on that, I don't think you need a manager in our market. If you get a manager, get an LA manager, a New York manager. You don't need an Atlanta manager, because like they can't do anything that your agent can't do. Just as a side note. Yes, I'll share one. The guy I was talking about earlier, I don't think he'll care if I talk about him. I repped him at my old agency.
Are you talking about Atkins?
No, I'm talking about Norio. I don't know if y'all know him, but I repped him at my old job, and then I rep him now, and like he's been training consistently, like taking classes. He's one of those actors that like you just root for, because even when he's not working like on set, he's always like in a class or like collaborating or doing something. So I like always root for him. He had been going to producers like numerous times for like almost every time he auditioned for Feld St. Paris. He just like kept going in the link, you know, and I never told him. So finally I did tell him, and he was like, that's good feedback. Like, thanks for letting me know. And then literally this past weekend, I was in Florida and I got a call from Kimberly, and she was like, he finally booked it. And so it was the last episode of a show that they were working on, and he booked a good guest star role on it. So I was like, thank God, after all of that, he got one. And it was cute because our other client, one of our other clients booked a person that's gonna be playing his boss. So it was like a cute little AWA booking. I don't know. So yeah, it is fun when you watch it, when you watch an office. And they even called and they were like, you know, they really want him to get this. They actually wanted him to retape something. And so I called him and he retaped it like immediately, sent it in, and then they booked him the next day. So it was awesome. I was excited for him.
So keep up the hustle. Don't be
Keep
too
up the hustle.
discouraged.
And you know, casting does notice the work that you're putting in. Like they champion you, like the way that they spoke about him on the phone and how much they love him. Like it made me feel good to know that, like, you know, you may feel like you're getting tons of auditions and you're like, God, how many times can I read for this? And it's like, he probably felt like that too throughout the course, but it ended up, at least he got a guest star on the last episode. Like at least he made it in, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's worth it. And they were so complimentary. So, you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna start going rapid
Okay.
fire through the questions. Let's pretend you're in the hot seat, which you technically
Okay.
are. Okay, so if from Eliana, is that right?
Close. It's Elena.
Elena, if somebody doesn't have an extensive reel or very many credits, does it deter you from signing them? And while they don't have reps, do you suggest where they can find them? And if they don't have reps, can you suggest where they can find auditions?
Yeah, for our company, yes, it would deter us if you don't have a ton on your resume, but it doesn't mean it's a total negatory. If you're young or if you're in a category that we need, we would maybe be willing to take a chance. I would say go on, like, you can sign up for, you know, Actors Access and Backstage and stuff have like, they'll release roles on there, and they're not always like phenomenal, but it could be a way for you to find some indies or some shorts or a way to like be a part of some projects where you can try to get some footage. You can also like go on like try to find some like mock sides online and just like tape an audition for yourself, you know, like just do that. And just to show us, like, in worst case, you can come in and we can do a cold read with you and we can see if like you even have like the essence of what we need you to have in order to want to work for you. So yeah, I mean, it's not a total negative, but we do tend to sign a little bit more, we say, recent recognizable credits that are like you're established pretty much. So
Vicky asks, sorry, Victoria Castillo asks, I'm looking for a voiceover agent mainly, but I also want to do film. What kind of agency should I be looking for? I guess imagine the question is, do theatrical also have voiceover? And should I look for 2 different agents? She speaks fluent English and Spanish and has dual citizenship in Mexico and in the US.
Yeah, voiceover is one of those things that, like, we are not exclusive for voiceover. So if we liked you for theatrical, we would sign you and then tell you that you can get a voiceover agent that can do that stuff on the side, because I just don't love it. We are looking into hiring someone who will run our voiceover division, because like we understand that a lot of actors want to do that, and it's just not like mine or Alex's passion, you know. But we know that if anyone looking to do that, like, let me know. But we want someone that like knows what they're doing and like has connections in the voiceover world. But yeah, that we would love to be able to offer it across the board, and we can, like, I'll do a voiceover job occasionally, but like, you know, I would recommend that you have a solid voiceover agent who knows what they're doing, and then theatrical. Now, there are some agencies in town, like I know AMT definitely has a strong VO department, but they also have a theatrical department. So, I mean, you can look into the bigger agencies that offer everything, the full service ones, and see if people are happy with. But a lot of the people that I rep have voiceover agents that are, I don't even know who they are. I can ask though. But yeah, they have like, and they're working all the time on voiceover stuff, but I just don't, it's just never was something I was good at.
To piggyback off of that voiceover question, if somebody mainly only has voiceover credits, is it still worthwhile to submit to a theatrical agent? I believe that's what Matthew was asking in his question.
I mean, yeah, if you're trying to get in, yeah. I mean, I would never say don't submit, like, shoot your shot, man. But I think it is, with so many submissions coming in every day, it is hard. We do kind of have to choose the ones that just have more credits, but that doesn't mean that we won't. And yeah, and if you speak multiple languages, and if you can show us what you can do, like if you can send us a mock audition or something, like, hey, I know I don't have any on-screen credits, but like, look, like, here's I'm good, you know, we'll watch it anytime. And then if we need, you know, if we need your type, then it's definitely worth a shot. And we actually do reserve 15% of our roster for developmental talent. So that we do, it is worth submitting, because we will take a chance on people. And then usually we give it like 6 months to a year to see if you pop. And then that's how we keep it. We kind of can keep it like 15 to 20% for developmental talent.
Okay, thank you. Ashley, Denise is asking, what casting directors do you have good relationships with?
All of them, all of the ones in the Southeast for sure. You know, obviously even Cannons, Feldstein Paris, George, Raven, Jackie Birch, all the New Orleans people, RPM casting, Brent, Megan, and all of them, Ryan, Glorioso, you know, anyone that's doing anything worthwhile in the Southeast. Alex has done a really good job of making AWA a company that they know they can count on and come to. So and then outside of that, we have also made it really good strides in other markets. You know, in New York, where we have a great rapport with Julie Schubert's office. We have a great rapport with Rappaport in LA, and I mean, a lot, Finley and New York, Finley.
So all of them, Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, just
everybody.
You know, there's a lot, but like, yeah, and I
question.
wouldn't say not every agent, not every New York, and not every LA company do we have a rapport with, but we have booked major roles with major companies out there, so they know who we are. And then in the Southeast, for sure, we know all of them. So
healthy relationship and a solid reputation is what I heard you say. Do you have any feedback? I'm combining a couple questions here. For people who are generally green and don't have experience, aren't sure where to start.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, finding ways to get to, I know it's like, it sucks, but like just combing through these breakdowns, and you might do something for free. You might, that's just how everybody has to start though. I mean, not one actor in this group didn't start doing their work for free. And me too, I've worked for free at my first job. So that's just where we all start. So comb through that, find something. If you have friends, maybe y'all make something, you know, like make something that's worth showing, be a part of something that's worth showing. We understand when we get a submission, if it's a short film or if it's an indie or if it's a low budget, like we know what to expect in terms of like how good it can be, but like you'd be surprised. Sometimes that stuff turns out really great, and like we can see what you can do from it. And so there's no shame in just finding work on those casting sites like Backstage and Actors Access and seeing what's there. Try to be part of something, and take classes. Like every time you can be in a class, be in one, be around creative people, ask successful people for advice, like see what they do. Take an improv class, 100% take an improv class. Like you will increase your booking ratio so much if you can improv. So, you know, just find ways to like hone your skills and don't get rusty, you know, stay in class and stay surrounded by creatives and be submitting yourself, and just try to book some stuff without an agent. And it happens, people do. I know Raven Drummer and like George, they will, and I'm sure other casting directors
does it as well. We'll drop stuff.
They will definitely like post things, and they will see you even if you don't have an agent, and they will help you. And so I mean, I think it's worth combing through those projects on the breakdowns and just seeing if there's anything you could do.
And specifically sites, there's Backstage, Actors Access, Casting Networks has stuff. Some of these though do require payment to get to the good stuff, and or payment to put enough headshots and a reel up for people to see you and actually be willing to cast. So there is still gatekeeping, obviously, with the financial aspect. There's a lot of money upfront demanded of us as actors that may never get paid back, but hopefully it does. Hopefully make it up on the back end. So just be prepared for that you might.
Yeah, I would say maybe it's worth having that premium subscription for like a little while until you can get rep. And then once you have an agent, like they have the premium. So you can just kind of drop back down to free version once you secure representation. But until then, if it gives you more access, then yeah, it's totally worth paying whatever that, I mean, I'm not sure what the fees are, but you know, it can be Can't be
astronomical. I'm kidding. I can't
Is
think
it?
of it.
It's
off the
probably
top of my
so
head.
bad. I probably feel so bad for you guys. You have to pay to post like every photo that you want to post. It's so bad.
Yeah, and then we can't think, it's fine. When people submit and they don't hear back, how long should they wait to submit again? That's a question from Leslie.
3 months. Because
3 months.
I probably saw it, and like if it wasn't right, then a lot of stuff can change. You can go through an ad drop period. I could rage decide that like I wouldn't do that, but you never know what can change when a person's mind or on a person's roster, or for the company. Maybe we hire a new person and they're looking to add people to their roster. Like, I mean, Drew he just got promoted to like he's no longer a junior agent and he's trying to sign some people. So like, that just happened recently. So it might be a good time. Maybe he's looking to expand. He doesn't have a ton. So, things like that. I would say 3 months at least before, or if you book something great, or if you like something good comes your way and you just want to share, we don't mind if you follow up and just say, hey, I booked a great thing and I'm proud of it and I want to resubmit,
Precious asks a good question. Besides submitting bomb auditions, what else could actors do to secure jobs and audition opportunities? Because it's not just about the acting. If the acting was enough, a lot more people and probably different people would be doing a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's mainly the acting. Once you turn in your auditions, do that. I think so many times it's like pulling teeth to get somebody to just turn it in. And I get it. Like the turnaround time is hard, and like, sometimes you get 8 pages and it's due in 2 days, and it's like, you also have a life outside of this. Like we said, maybe you have kids, maybe you have class, all these things. So I get it. But yeah, turn in your auditions, and then, if you get the opportunity to have a callback, like show them a little of your personality, but don't be weird, but like show your personality. Don't be afraid to just like be yourself. And also like making friends when you do get a job, like make friends on set and like make connections as anywhere you go, however you can, because this world is just all about who you know. So yeah, I mean, if you book something and you don't just go sit in your trailer, like go make friends on, like go to Video Village, go like just go mingle. And like,
well, with COVID that might be complicated, but like generally speaking, this is what she means.
That's true. When you're able to do those things, don't be unsafe. But yeah, if I just know we have people that's their personality. They're just a social butterfly. So if that's you, use that. If that's not you, that's okay. Go sit in your trailer. But then maybe you need to be like standing out in other ways. Like I said, with like learning a new skill, or with your improv, like just make people laugh when you're in the room. I know everybody that I book on, I mean, most things they say that the audition, it was just a bunch of laughing. Like they just had a good day with them. They can picture them having a good day on set, and so they book them. Like I know you don't get that with the self tapes, but if you go in for a callback, or if you have like a live audition over like EcoCast Live, or like a Zoom audition, things like that, just try not to take it seriously, but bring yourself to it and just make them smile, and like that goes a long way too. But yeah, I mean, it is going to come down to like having a good agent and having a good audition and having good quality. Follow the freaking instructions, because a lot of the agents they don't upload them for you like we do. You're uploading them yourself, and there are like really specific instructions. So just follow that. Compress your files. Small files are good files. We do not want large files. So any time that you can, any little thing like that you can do, following the directions, labeling things correctly, small files, all that will help your chances. Because I don't know what casting does, but I mean, you don't want a technicality to be the reason that you didn't get it,
Like they weren't willing to download it because it was too big, so they just
like it's huge. I mean, Breakdown won't let you upload more than 500 megabytes, but still, like if your file is huge, like it still might take forever to download, and like it just helps them if it's small, if they're trying to send it off. And then like literally someone once told me that like they just delete the audition if it's not labeled right. I don't believe them at all, but like you never know, so like just label it right.
We have thrown a lot of questions at you. We actually technically went over 20 minutes, where I usually give the guest a chance to run away after being bombarded. Thank you so much for
no.
being here with us. I'm afraid to ask this, but is there a way you want people to contact you?
Sure.
Okay.
If you our submission, make sure if you want to submit, or even if you want to talk to me about anything, on if you submit on info@alexanderwhiteagents.com, just put like that we met this
Somebody
way.
type that
or
up and
just
put it
call
in the
me.
comments.
Oh yeah. I'll do that.
info@alexanderwhite.com.
Alexander White Agent.
So a lot of you were like, oh, I'm brown and cute and 20. So like
Yeah.
you guys
Send-
submit,
send me your
okay?
stuff, and just make sure in the subject line like put like how I'll know to click on it, like that we met this way, and then I will review it. And even if it's not the right time, I can promise that I can reply to at least I can reply. I can give you an answer either way.
That's
So
certainly
at
more
least you'll
than
have that.
nothing. Taylor, again, thank you. Thank you to Lucy, who's graced us with her presence in and out. Thank you everyone who attended, who had amazing questions, who was willing to let us look at your emails and your clips, and also my email inbox, because I'm not good at technology. So we just thank all of you for the time that you shared, the vulnerability that you offered.
I direct message Jan Lee. Hang on. I meant to send it. Sorry, Jan
And
Lee.
for being a part of Actor Nightcap. Next month, we'll be talking to a manager from LA, and I will have flyers out soon. Taylor
All right.
DeThomas, you are
Thanks, guys.
a beautiful, wonderful human, and I'm grateful.
Thank you. This was fun. I'm glad. Thanks for asking me to be part of it. It was fun, and I learned some stuff too. So
Yeah, absolutely my pleasure. I'm gonna stop recording, but you don't have to leave.
okay.